Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the new Marvel Legends, the Captain America Infinite series, A.I.M soldier, A.I.M agent, A.I.M dude, Star-Lord if you will, because I say that because he is essentially the Star-Lord mold that they painted yellow, or molded in yellow, and I say that because of the boots. You can see most of it generally in the torso, and it's okay that they're reusing the mold. I don't mind. I think that's alright. It's a new sculpt. It's nicely sculpted. The only thing that bothers me is the boots, and I'll post up two pictures right there on the screen. You can see why. Because A.I.M guys don't really have those boots. Sometimes they have a little bit of a pointy shoe, but in every image I could find, and you guys know I don't read the comics, so I had to look this up. So I could be wrong, so let me know if I am, but in every image I could find, the A.I.M guys have round boots, standard boots, and Star-Lord has quite often pointy cowboy boot type things, and that's what this guy has. So it's a little irritating. It doesn't really match the whole A.I.M thing, these cowboy boot type boots, but it's something I can overlook because most of the rest of the figure is done really well. Of course, he has his own head and accessories and stuff, and it does look pretty good. Let's take a close look at the figure. He stands about 6.5 inches tall, give or take, so he's standard size, nothing special there. He comes with two guns, two weapons, and he does have two trigger fingers, so that's nice. He can hold the gun on either side, guns. And the guns are sculpted fairly well. They don't have a huge amount of paint, but they do have the black and the blue, so that's okay by me. It says A.I.M back there. Paintwork's clean enough. Pretty cool. It's a nice heavy piece of plastic, actually. I mean, for its size, it's not a hollow piece of junk like we've seen for some figures. And he does have also a pistol, which is painted in the same color scheme, so that's okay. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this almost neon macaroni and cheese orange, but it's not horrible. He does have a holster belt thingy, which doesn't really hold anything but grenades and pouches, that sits over his shoulder. You could easily take that off by removing his head if you wanted to, but it looks pretty good, and they did paint the buckles and the tops of the grenades on the front. On the back, they said, screw it, let's save that money. So that's what they did. As far as paint on the figure goes, the belt is cast in a black piece of soft plastic, and then the yellow parts are painted, and it shows because it's not the cleanest paint job. Everything is cast in yellow as far as I can tell, which makes sense, because yellow is hard to paint and black is easy, so they did that. However, there's not much paint. They painted the collar, unless that's a separate piece. It might be a separate piece they glued on. Either way, the collar's black. The visor is painted. It is textured, though, to look like the mesh, so I do appreciate that. I think that's cool. And the paintwork is fine. It's a nice metallic blue. It fits the character nicely. They did paint some of the buckles, as you can see here, or buttons or snaps. That looks really good. However, his chest is loaded with them, and they're not painted, so that really stands out as a sore spot for me. I think if you're going to paint some snaps, if you're going to leave some out, leave these out and paint the chest ones, because those are right in your face. But it's still a good sculpt, so I'm willing to overlook at least a little bit. The boots have no paint on them at all, so again, it's irritating because there are so easy things to make this guy so much better. It's a really nice sculpt. It's an A.I.M guy, which we've been wanting for forever, asking for forever, and then they just, how much would it have cost for them to paint the buckles or the buttons? I mean, seriously, they can do things like that. They don't need to save every little penny, especially on a brand new sculpt. Utilize it. This guy would have been an easily great figure if they had just added a little bit more effort. So it's just really frustrating for me because it could have been so much better with just a little bit of paint. There's no shading, there's no nothing. It's 95% molded yellow plastic, so it's disheartening, I guess is the right way to say that. The head is on a hinged ball peg, so that's okay. Pretty good range of motion for the design, so I do like that. I'm glad that they actually thought that through. That's pretty cool, I like it. Shoulders. For being these big, baggy, poofy shoulders, they did a good job. You can get the articulation pretty well all the way around. They recessed it properly, so it looks good and functions well, so kudos for that, Hasbro. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and wrist pivot. I think these are hands that we've seen before. I'm pretty sure Bucky Cap only had one trigger finger, so the left hand might be new. I'm not sure, I don't remember offhand. No pun intended. Ab crunch works really well. Waist twist is in there. This is a separate piece, so even though it's glued on and relatively stiff, it won't really get in the way. Hips, T-jointed. They don't go out to the side as much as I'd like, but that's not a huge deal because they go all the way forward. They have a thigh swivel. They have double jointed knees. No boot swivel. I'm fine with it. I don't like that anyway. The ankles are the new types of ankles, so they have the rocker and the pivot. So all in all, this guy had such great potential. Really good sculpt, really good articulation. It's just lacking in the paint so much so that it's disappointing. He has accessories. They're really stepping up their game with the Legends, it seems. I'm really happy about that. One more step is all we need. A little bit more paint and we are good to go. So I do like the figure. I do recommend you get it. But if you're listening, Hasbro, give us a little bit extra paint. Please. A little bit more paint goes a long way. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.